Look, it's very simple. Think about it. If the origin of thought is suggestion by your brain showing up in your head, is outside, as we talked about, because for anything to be happening, it needs to have a physicality, physical environment. And an action that is base of a thought needs to have a physical environment for it to take place. And there's no physical environment here. So all actions are taking place outside of you, which is the base of a thought is born. Since action brings experience, experience brings knowledge, and knowledge is recorded in the memory consciousness, and from that memory, a thought is born. And then action from thought and experience and knowledge and so on, and the process continues. So if we understand that a thought is originated from an action takes place from outside of us, so thoughts originates from outside of us. And if it does that, then how could it ever know anything about inside of me, including my gender? Because my inside, hearts, kidney, gender, genitalia, who I am, how I am, was made, hacked and carved in stone in my mother's womb when thought never even existed, wasn't even in the vicinity. Thought came to be an ability after I was born. So when thought had nothing to do with the existence and creation of my gender and everything else about me, it could never ever have anything to do with any threat that it can ever come from thought to any part of me, including my gender, including anything else that I have been created as such. So it's like, and then anything else that comes up to your mind about this malfunction, about this misconception, about this suggestion, crazy, meaningless, irrelevant suggestions, you're dealing with it, reasoning that with the same malfunction brain that created that suggestion to begin with. So you're trying to fix something with a broken tool. In other words, it's like if you have a car, trying to fix your car, the engine is running perfectly, but you have some kind of a meter, some kind of a gadget that it doesn't work properly, doesn't function properly, it's malfunctioning, but you don't know it's malfunctioning. So you read the gauge and it says something wrong with certain part of the engine. And now you want to fix the engine, calibrate it with the same gadget that is showing something wrong with the engine due to its malfunction. And you're trying to fix that is not broken by a broken machine that is telling you that is not broken is broken. And now you're trying to debate with it and trying to use this apparatus to fix something that there's nothing wrong with it, but it keeps showing there's something wrong with it. The interaction with this malfunctioning tool is not going to be healthy anyhow. So what's the use of using a malfunctioning tool to fix something while all along you believing that the malfunction is healthy and the healthy is malfunctioning? I think something needs to be rewired here for us before we actually be able to get out of this glitch of the HOCD that you are dealing with. So the question is not that your gender is threatened or any kind of modification ever can happen to it. The question is, what is the credibility of the questionnaire? Why would you give any credibility to the brain that obviously is basing its suggestion and idea on what it doesn't have any authority on it, any credibility to make any opinion on it? Why? Because anything that it does is based on the outside thoughts. But you were made in the mother's womb without a thought having anything to do with it and without anything outside of the mother's womb or anything to do with the outside. You've been created how you've been created, and that cannot change by just because a malfunctioning tool is now suggesting that it can change. Well, look at the problem here, not the problem in you because it suggested it. Who died and left this one in charge as the authority that can make any opinion about something that it has nothing to do with and never did and wasn't even in existence when this was put together. So the idea is, don't believe this, believe you. The me is above these thoughts and the brain and all that, because thought coming from the brain is a tool. You're not the brain is not you, you're not thought, and thought is not you. And that's what you should be focusing on. That's all. The rest of it is irrelevant, is nonsense, is just a glitch in the brain. And as you know, we talked about it in the signaling system and all that, and then you followed the rest of the videos and you figured out what we've talked about, because that is very clear. There's nothing wrong with you, that there's something wrong with this. And this is where the problem starts, not that. So your gender doesn't change. And I said before, you're not a cow's milk. That one day you're milk, and then later on you can be sour milk, buttermilk, and then if you wait longer you can become yogurt, and then long time in your life you may become cheese. You don't change. Gender doesn't change. It's made, that's how it is. Whatever you were born as, that's what you're going to be forever, regardless of what this tries to bamboozle you and make suggestions of any kind. The question should be on this, not on anything else. Having said that, let's continue our discussion.